Hello and welcome to another episode of From No Crypto to No Crypto. It's the Crypto Coach, Blockchain Wayne, with another cryptocurrency podcast. Today's episode brought to us by Newscrypto.io, some of the best trading tools out there and some of the best crypto education available. Also brought to us by Blockchain Training Academy, bringing blockchain and cryptocurrency education to the masses. All right, today we're going to dive into a blog report I did recently for Newscrypto called DYOR. And if you're not familiar with the blog, you can head over to newscrypto.io, click on their blog section, and DYOR stands for Do Your Own Research. How basically you need to take responsibility for anything you do in the cryptocurrency space. And this is, let's just say, this is outside of just the cryptocurrency space. Anything that you invest money in to either invest or trade, your decisions are your own responsibility. And we see it so often happening in so many different social media channels, Facebook groups, crypto groups, where people blindly ask what to buy. Should I buy this? Should I buy that? All these generic questions without even truly understanding what is cryptocurrency. What does this project have to offer? What makes it special? If I'm looking at it from an investment standpoint, I just don't want something that's going to pump and dump over the next few months, because those are possible even if the project isn't that great. But you want to get into something where it's a solid project. And many times people will make these posts and they'll be blasted with the comments DYOR, which, like I said, stands for Do Your Own Research. So I decided to write a little bit about that, to talk about what is DYOR, why is it important? Because it is. You truly need to learn how to research, and research is not going through a different YouTube channels that eventually we may find out to be people that are paid by the company just to shield this project. Now, don't dismiss it. There are people that are paid to promote projects, and they promote legitimate projects. Like myself, I only partner with companies that are focused around cryptocurrency education. So yes, we're sponsored by multiple different education companies. If I didn't feel they had the best interest in mind and where I'm going, I would not accept any kind of compensation for sharing information about those protocols and projects. So it's very important to know where to look. So things are getting hot right now. We're seeing Bitcoin is hot. Bitcoin is touched and peaked around, hit the all-time high on some platforms, not on others, because there's some variances in the all-time high price from several years ago on Bitcoin, but over 19,000. Many people are expecting most of the altcoins to come alive. We've seen a few already have some pumps earlier in the year and again recently. So a lot of people that are new to the crypto space, or maybe have stepped away for a few years, are looking to get back in, realize it's not dead if they were in before and they want to come back. And doing your own research is the way to go, because I tell you what I saw over the last few years of the bear market, and I myself made some decisions, some bad decisions on some projects, investing in, bought some coins or tokens, and saw the values of those things plummet. And I really have nobody else to blame but myself. But what I saw over and over and over again were people blaming this group for pushing a project, or this person, or just a random post where they took someone's advice and bought, just somebody said buy this, it's going to go up. Or people blindly take their friends or family advice, where friends or family may not even understand it, and they're telling their friends to buy this token, buy X token or Y token or whatever it may be, because it's going to go 10x. Just recently I had someone that I work with come show me a text message that her husband received from a friend that was basically telling him to buy Bitcoin at 18,000 today, because a year from now it's going to be over 300,000. Now, neither the person that sent the text or the person who received the text know anything about Bitcoin. They've heard it. They know it exists, but they don't know anything about Bitcoin, anything about cryptocurrency. Why is it important? Why do they think that's going to happen? And like I explained to her, the lady that showed it to me, was basically, you don't know. Could it be at 300,000 in a year from now? Absolutely. But you know what? It could go back down below 10,000 or even lower before we go up there. And it could be a long, rough ride to get there. You may think it's a year. It may be 2 to 3 to 5 years. Do I think we'll get there in the long term? Absolutely. We understand. If you understand what's happening with our current monetary policies across different countries, you see that those are starting to crumble, and cryptocurrency will evolve and grow from there. But it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a volatile ride. There are going to be massive dips, massive swings, and many people are going to get shaken out, lose faith, lose belief in the system before we get to those highs. And that's why it's important to do your own research on projects. So let's talk about what does that really mean. Do your own research. Like I said, it's thrown around in all these different groups and social media circles, and misinformation can spread faster than the speed of light and spread faster than the true information. Communities pop up, some communities with ill intentions to pump and dump a project, which means they pump up the price, get a bunch of people to buy it, and as the price is approaching a high, those that got in early to manipulate the pump sell theirs to new people coming in, and eventually the price will dump, and many people are left hurt from that. So that's why it's important to know where to do your own research. It can also help prevent you from buying a cryptocurrency as it's crashing in price, buying at all-time high, like we see a lot of people do, where they jump in the project when the hype is already high, the price is already pumped, and if you understand how markets work, there's usually some kind of a pullback. Nothing goes up forever in any market, no matter what you're trading, whether it's a crypto, a stock, a commodity, it's going to have some retracements. So that's why it's important to understand the project. So, when you're looking at it, you want to start. What I tell people to start at first is education. Education comes before adoption. Now, that's a phrase that Newscrypto uses quite often. I love it. I've adopted that phrase because it's true that education comes before adoption. And that's why I got involved in the education space, because we're not going to see cryptocurrency really catch on a wide scale basis until there's education, both in the consumer side and the corporate side. Now, we're starting to see a lot of Bitcoin adoption on the corporate side. Not saying I can walk into quite a few stores. It's not like everyone, but randomly ones that will accept crypto, or maybe will accept crypto on their websites. But most of them are starting to really look at the model put forth by, whether it's Square, who put $50 million of their cash reserves into Bitcoin, or maybe it's MicroStrategy, which put over $400 million of their cash reserves into Bitcoin, because they realize at this point, looking at what's happened with the current massive printing of the US dollar and other fiat currencies, that it's almost reckless not to have a portion of your portfolio into Bitcoin and a select few other cryptocurrencies. Now, with that disclaimer, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies. Anybody can create one. In fact, I created one for work where it's an employee reward system where they hit certain metrics, hit certain goals. They earn this crypto, which immediately gets sent to their wallet. When they want to cash them out, they can redeem them for snacks or drinks or certain other prizes. And that's the only value it really has, but that just shows you anybody can create a cryptocurrency. What's going to give something true value over time is going to be adoption, use case, which then something that's going to lead to a demand for that item. And then usually there's a limited supply of it, whether it's set supply, supply that's going to be mined over time, or it could be a slow release based on what's built into the code, where it may be a release of a little bit over time to give inflation, but there is a set supply that leads to prices going up from an investment standpoint. That's what many people are looking for. We want to see cryptocurrency adopted. We want to be able to see it be able to be used because it has so much potential, and the fact that it opens up financial doors to people that didn't have access to this before. And I'm not just talking about people in third world countries. We're talking about people that live in maybe inner cities that have never really had access to those types of financial tools, or people that may have, been born to parents in a country where maybe they're illegal aliens in that country. They're not, they're illegally, and they can't open up certain accounts, or because of what side of a border they're born on, they either have certain rights that are given or certain rights that are denied to them. And cryptocurrency takes all that away. So let's start with education. Educating yourself about, one, what is cryptocurrency? Why is it important? You also must understand the history of money, because to understand why this is important in the evolution of money, you've got to understand where we've been before. So it's important to learn about that. So, two places I'd say start, and there's going to be links shared in the description of this podcast. You can either start with Newscrypto.io, go to their website, create a free account. There is an education section with school and tutorials where you can take some quizzes. You can watch some videos that we've created to learn the basics about crypto. Now, Newscrypto's platform goes more into tools to help you with trading. If that's the route you want to go, you can do more studying there. Blockchain Training Academy, blockchaintrainingacademy.com. That link is also provided in the description here. You can go there, and it's some of the same in the core basics of what is crypto, the history of money, but there's a lot more detail if you want to learn about blockchain structures and coding structures and many other different projects and protocols within crypto, more from an informational side than a trading and technical tool side. So both of those give you great access to different tools. Both of them have great communities that you can join, participate in, and ask questions. So that's where you start. Understand the basics of what is cryptocurrency. Why is Bitcoin even important, right? Why is that even such a big deal? It's not just because, it's going to go up in price and people are buying it up because a friend told them it's going to go up to 300,000 by next year when they don't even understand what it is. So that's the place to start. Get your education under your belt, understand what it is, and that'll also stop and help you from getting suckered into illegitimate projects, scam projects, Ponzi projects. They are out there. Cryptocurrency is described as digital gold. Where there's gold, there's going to be pirates. So where there's digital gold, there's going to be digital pirates. So it's important to get your foundation laid right in the education. It'll also help you from being suckered into some of these cryptocurrency scams. One of the ones still going on, every day I see people sharing screenshots of messages from scammers, fake social media accounts, telling them that they can mine Bitcoin. If they send a certain amount, they'll double or triple their money in the next few days. Trust me, mining does not happen like that. True mining is a long-term operation where it takes you a while even to recoup the cost of your equipment. So don't get suckered into those scams. Anything that sounds like it's a fast, quick buck is really something to be leery of. So it's either the person explaining doesn't understand the project, and the project could be legitimate, or it could be scammers trying to sucker you into a fake project. You don't need anybody to manage your crypto. Crypto gives you true control of your currency, which allows you to hold it, to trade it, to sell it, to send it to people without the need of a third party, with true peer-to-peer interactions. So that's the basics of education. The next thing you want to do is learn more about cryptocurrency. Go to either CoinGecko.com or CoinMarketCap. Those links are also provided in the description. Those are typically price aggregate sites, but they give you a ton of information. And CoinGecko, I lean more towards that one than CoinMarketCap in this aspect of this podcast, because CoinGecko, when you click on whatever cryptocurrency you want to look at, it gives you many specifics about it. It gives you the legitimate website. So don't go to Google and Google something and then click on a fake website. Scammers will create fake websites to look like the legitimate ones to trick people into either clicking a link and allowing them to infect their computer, or making them think that it's a legitimate link and people enter sensitive information into it, which then allows their accounts to be hacked. One thing about cryptocurrency, the cryptography behind it is phenomenal. In most cases, in most projects, the only flaw is the human input. If you allow someone to access your private keys or your seed phrases, they'll be able to wipe your wallets clean. So make sure you go to the legitimate website, CoinGecko.com. When you click on a project, you click on a crypto, it'll tell you their page. It'll give you a link to the Blockchain Explorer. It'll tell you what type of coin or token it is. Is it mineable? Is it stakeable? What that goes. And it'll also give you a lot of their social media channels, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Telegram or YouTube or any of the other channels that are available. They'll put them there. And also, if that project has an open source GitHub or other kind of source code, depository where people can view the code, view it open source, or contribute to the code, that will also be linked there. Now, you can also then go to the legitimate website of that project, and usually there you'll see a lot of the links to all their social media channels. Are they on Telegram? Are they on Discord? And I usually, even if I don't join all the groups, I like to see what their following is and how long they've been around. What's the following over time, just to see. I know following doesn't necessarily dictate whether it's a legitimate project or not, but everything you're looking for, it's impossible to know everything, and there are risks with everything you do. But the more checkboxes you have, the more you can decide if it's a legitimate project or not. The reason education is important, because if you don't understand the basics, a project that is not on the up and up and maybe created to be a scam could trick people and lure people in with flashy, fancy words like smart contracts and, token swaps, atomic swaps, and all these different words that if you don't understand them, you could potentially fall victim to it. So it's important to look at the right links. Go through, if they provide a white paper, most projects have a white paper, read that white paper. Now, there may be some technical jargon you don't understand, but you can at least read the summaries, read the basics. Usually there's a summary at the beginning or the end, and that's where I would tell you to start. Check those out, see what it says, look for information on there, look for legitimate people to follow. That way you understand this, and then you'll start to understand different ways to look at it. So if there's a blockchain explorer link to that project, see how decentralized their holdings are within wallets. What I mean, to give you an example. So there's a lot of ERC20 tokens. Those are Ethereum-based tokens that are created on the Ethereum blockchain. Many projects have launched tokens on there. And so you can go to Etherscan, which is a blockchain explorer for Ethereum, and you can click on a project on a token and see all the different holders' addresses of those. And typically it'll show you the breakdown. So in the blog post, I give an example of a project that came out recently, but when you look at it, 90+% of the total tokens in circulation are held by 3 wallets. That's not very decentralized. That could allow someone to easily come in and drop the price, dump the price. So there's a lot of things to understand when it comes to that. Now, if the project's just getting off the ground before token distribution, it may show a lot in one place. So it's important to understand what you're looking at. Ask questions within the social media channels. And whenever you have doubts, here's a couple of things you can do. So within Newscrypto.io, Newscrypto's website, if you go to the tutorial section, there's a button there that says Ask a Coach, which will go straight to an email that then gets sent to me. If you have a question about a project, I can send you information, or at least tell you where to look to get information. I never will recommend a project, good or bad. All I can do is point out any red flags, because let's face it, there's projects that had red flags in the beginning and ended up doing very well. There's other projects that didn't have any red flags and ended up not doing great. At the end of the day, there's risk with everything, but the more you know about the project, the more you can understand it, the better you can be in your overall choices, or at least have some understanding that you've done what you could. So look for active social media channels. Look for places you can get questions answered. If you do go to YouTube and search for videos about the project, just take it with a grain of salt to understand that some of the people creating those videos are paid by that company to do that, and so, just look for other sources of validity to see if what they're saying is true or not, and then learn more about it. So in the end, it's all about doing your own research. And on the flip side of that, I finished off the blog where I talk about, if you're on that side where you're in a crypto group or in a crypto community or a social media community or crypto Twitter, and someone asks about, should I buy this or should I buy that? And they're new, they don't understand the basics. Direct them to information instead of just typing DYOR. Type DYOR and then say, this is how you do your own research, and send them first to get educated on what cryptocurrency even is. What are the basics of it? Why is it important? And send them that. We've got to do better, because if someone posts a question in their mind, this is new to them. They're just looking for help. They don't know where to turn. When we first got into crypto several years ago, it was hard to figure out things. You were on your own, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. So just think about that. And if you just type DYOR, do your own research, some people will get turned off and walk away from it. We want more people to learn about, to adopt it, to do it the right way. Or if we turn them off, they may not learn how to properly understand projects and educate themselves, and they could get suckered into scams at some point when they finally do decide to enter the cryptocurrency space. So let's all do our part, help others, and take responsibility for our own actions. That's the 2 biggest things we could do. Take responsibility for our actions, for our investments, as we all get better at using the DYOR protocol. So that's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening in, and we will catch you all in the next episode.